Today's video is about 7 mistakes you must never make when growing bell peppers. We're going to cover about the watering disasters that kill more pepper plants than anything else. Then we'll explore the soil secrets that most beginner gardeners completely overlook. After that, we'll discuss spacing issues that can turn your pepper paradise into a cramped nightmare. We'll also cover the fertilizer fiascos that leave your plants either starving or burning, followed by the timing troubles that can waste your entire growing season. Next, we'll examine the pest and disease problems that sneak up when you least expect them. And finally, we'll wrap up with the harvesting horrors that rob you of your well-deserved bounty. So grab your favorite gardening beverage, settle in, and let's make sure your pepper plants thrive like never before. Alright, let's start with the big one. The mistake that literally drowns more bell pepper dreams than any other. You're probably thinking I'm going to tell you about underwatering, right? Well, surprisingly, it's actually the complete opposite. Overwatering is the silent killer that destroys more bell pepper plants than drought, pests, and diseases combined. Here's what happens when you love your peppers a little too much with that watering can. You see those beautiful green leaves starting to yellow from the bottom up, and you think, oh no, my plant needs more water. So what do? You water even more, creating this vicious cycle that ultimately drowns the roots and kills your plant from the ground up. Bell peppers are actually quite drought tolerant once established, and they absolutely hate having wet feet. When you overwater, you're essentially suffocating the roots, preventing them from absorbing the oxygen they desperately need. The roots start to rot, turning black and mushy, and once that process begins, it's incredibly difficult to reverse. But here's the thing. How do you know when your peppers actually need water? It's simpler than you might think. Stick your finger about 2 inches deep into the soil around your plant. If it feels dry at that depth, then it's time to water. If it's still moist, wait another day or 2 and check again. Your peppers will actually produce better fruit when they experience slight water stress between waterings. Moreover, when you do water, make sure you're watering deeply, but less frequently. This encourages the roots to grow deeper into the soil, making your plants more resilient during hot summer days. Shallow, frequent watering creates weak, surface-level root systems that can't support a healthy pepper plant through the growing season. Now that we've talked about watering, let's dig into something that's literally the foundation of your pepper. Idean success, your soil. And here's where so many gardeners make a critical error that sets them up for failure before they even plant their first seedling. The mistake? Assuming that any old dirt will do for growing bell peppers. You grab some soil from your yard, maybe mix in a little compost, and think you're good to go. But bell peppers are actually quite particular about their soil conditions. And if you get this wrong, nothing else you do will matter. Bell peppers absolutely thrive in well-draining soil with a pH between 6.0 and 6.8. If your soil is too acidic or too alkaline, your plants won't be able to absorb nutrients properly, no matter how much fertilizer you throw at them. It's like trying to drink through a straw with holes in it. The nutrients just aren't getting where they need to go. Furthermore, peppers need soil that's rich in organic matter, but not too heavy or clay-like. Heavy soil retains too much moisture, bringing us right back to that overwatering problem we just discussed. On the flip side, sandy soil drains too quickly and doesn't hold nutrients well enough to support healthy pepper production. Here's what you need to do to create the perfect pepper soil mix. Start with quality potting soil if you're growing in containers, or improve your garden soil by working in plenty of compost, aged manure, and perlite for drainage. The goal is to create soil that holds moisture, but drains excess water quickly, while providing a steady supply of nutrients throughout the growing season. Additionally, don't forget to test your soil pH before planting. You can pick up an inexpensive pH testing kit at any garden center, and this simple step can save you months of frustration. If your soil is too acidic, add some lime. If it's too alkaline, work in some sulfur or peat moss. Your peppers will thank you with bigger, more abundant harvests. Moving right along, let's talk about a mistake that seems so innocent, but can absolutely devastate your pepper production. You've got your soil perfect, your watering schedule down pat, and you're so excited to get those pepper seedlings in the ground that you make this crucial error. You plant them too close together. I totally get it. Those little pepper seedlings look so small and innocent when you first plant them. You think, surely I can fit more plants in this space. And before you know it, you've created a pepper jungle where plants are fighting each other for sunlight, nutrients, and air circulation. When bell pepper plants are crowded together, several terrible things happen simultaneously. First, they compete fiercely for nutrients in the soil, which means none of them get enough to produce those big, beautiful peppers you're dreaming of. Instead, you end up with small, stunted fruit that never reaches its full potential. Second, poor air. Circulation between crowded plants creates the perfect environment for fungal diseases. You'll start seeing dark spots on leaves, powdery mildew, and other problems that can quickly spread through your entire pepper patch. It's like creating a disease superhighway right in your garden. But there's more. Crowded pepper plants also struggle to get adequate sunlight, especially the lower leaves. Bell peppers need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily to produce well, and when plants are shading each other, productivity plummets dramatically. So what's the proper spacing for bell peppers? Give each plant at least 18 to 24 inches of space in all directions. If you're growing larger varieties, bump that up to 30 inches. Yes, it might look like a lot of empty space when you first plant, but trust me, your mature pepper plants will fill that space completely and thank you with incredible harvests. Transitioning from spacing, let's dive into another area where gardeners often shoot themselves in the foot: fertilizing. And this mistake is particularly frustrating because you think you're doing something wonderful for your plants, but you're actually sabotaging your entire pepper harvest. The mistake? Loading up your pepper plants with nitrogen-heavy fertilizers, thinking that more is always better. You see those lush, dark green leaves and think, wow, my plants look amazing, but then weeks go by, and you're wondering why you're getting tons of beautiful foliage, but very few actual peppers. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. When you overfeed your pepper plants with nitrogen, you're essentially telling them, hey, focus all your energy on growing leaves instead of making fruit. The plants become lazy, putting all their resources into creating that gorgeous green growth while completely ignoring their primary job: producing peppers for you to enjoy. Furthermore, too much nitrogen actually makes your plants more susceptible to pest problems. Those soft, succulent leaves that nitrogen promotes are like candy to aphids, spider mites, and other garden pests. You're literally rolling out the red carpet for the bad guys while weakening your plant's natural defenses. But here's the tricky part. Your pepper plants do need some nitrogen, especially early in the growing season. The key is understanding when and how much to provide. During the first few weeks after transplanting, a balanced fertilizer with equal parts nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium works well. But once your plants start flowering, you need to switch to a lower nitrogen fertilizer that's higher in phosphorus and potassium. Think of phosphorus as the flower and fruit booster, while potassium helps with overall plant health and disease resistance. A fertilizer with an NPK ratio of something like 5:10:10 is perfect for pepper plants once they start setting fruit. Apply it every 3 to 4 weeks throughout the growing season, and you'll see a dramatic difference in your pepper production. Continuing our journey through pepper growing pitfalls, let's address a mistake that can literally waste your entire growing season before it even begins. And unfortunately, this is one of those errors that you might not realize you've made until it's far too late to fix. The timing tragedy I'm talking about is planting your peppers too early in the season. You're so eager to get your garden started that you rush to plant your pepper seedlings as soon as the last frost date passes, thinking you're getting a head start on the growing season. But bell peppers are actually quite sensitive to cold temperatures, even when there's no frost involved. When soil temperatures are below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, pepper plants essentially go into shock. They stop growing, their leaves may turn purple or yellow, and they can sit there for weeks without making any progress. Even worse, cold stress early in the season can permanently stunt their growth, meaning they'll never reach their full potential even when temperatures warm up. Moreover, cold nighttime temperatures can cause pepper flowers to drop off before they're properly pollinated. you might see your plants blooming. But if nighttime temperatures are consistently below 55 degrees, those flowers will simply fall off without producing fruit. It's heartbreaking to watch, especially when you realize you could have prevented it with better timing. But it's not just about air temperature. Soil temperature is equally important. Cold soil prevents the roots from absorbing nutrients properly, even if you're fertilizing correctly. Your plants might look okay above ground, but their root systems are struggling to function in that cold soil. So, when should you actually plant your bell peppers? Wait until nighttime temperatures are consistently staying above 55 degrees and soil temperatures have warmed to at least 65 degrees. In most areas, this means waiting at least 2 weeks after the last frost date, sometimes longer. Use a soil thermometer to check the temperature at a depth of about 4 inches. This simple tool can save you weeks of frustration. As we move deeper into our discussion of pepper growing mistakes, let's tackle something that catches even experienced gardeners off guard. You've mastered the watering, perfected your soil, spaced your plants properly, and timed everything perfectly. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, your beautiful pepper plants start showing signs of distress, and you're left scratching your head, wondering what went wrong. The mistake here is what I call pest and disease blindness, essentially ignoring the early warning signs because your plants look mostly healthy. You notice a few holes in some leaves, maybe some tiny insects here and there, but you think, oh, it's not that bad. I'll deal with it later. And that's exactly when these problems explode into garden disasters. Aphids are probably the most common pepper pest, and they're masters of multiplication. You might see just a few of these tiny green or black insects on your plants one day, but within a week, they can cover entire branches, sucking the life out of your pepper plants while spreading viral diseases that can kill your entire crop. Similarly, spider mites love hot, dry conditions and pepper plants. These microscopic pests cause leaves to develop tiny yellow or bronze spots that eventually turn the entire leaf brown and crispy. By the time you notice the damage, spider mites have usually been feeding on your plants for weeks, and the damage can be irreversible. Then there are the fungal diseases that thrive in warm, humid conditions. Early blight starts as small dark spots on lower leaves, but can quickly spread throughout the entire plant if left unchecked. Bacterial spot creates similar symptoms, but spreads even faster, especially during periods of high humidity or frequent rain. The key to preventing these disasters is regular inspection. Walk through your pepper patch at least twice a week, looking at both the tops and undersides of leaves. Check for any unusual spots, holes, or discoloration. Look for insects, even tiny ones. The earlier you catch problems, the easier they are to control with organic methods like insecticidal soap, neem oil, or beneficial insects. Finally, let's discuss the last major mistake that can rob you of all your hard work, just when you should be enjoying the fruits of your labor. After months of careful watering, feeding, and tending to your pepper plants, you're finally seeing beautiful bell peppers forming. But this is where many gardeners make a crucial error that dramatically reduces their total harvest. The harvesting horror I'm talking about is leaving your peppers on the plant too long, thinking they need to turn red or yellow to be ready. While it's true that bell peppers will eventually change color if left on the plant, this actually signals to the plant that its job is done, and it can stop producing new flowers and fruit. When you harvest bell peppers while they're still green and glossy, you're telling the plant, keep going, I need more peppers. This encourages continuous production throughout the growing season. A single pepper plant can produce 15 to 20 peppers if you harvest them at the right time. But that number drops significantly if you let the first few peppers fully mature on the plant. Furthermore, leaving mature peppers on the plant actually stresses the plant and makes it more susceptible to pest and disease problems. The plant puts enormous energy into producing seeds in those mature peppers, energy that could be going into producing more fruit for your kitchen table. But how do you know when green bell peppers are ready to harvest? Look for peppers that are full-sized for their variety, firm to the touch, and have developed a deep, glossy green color. They should feel heavy for their size and make a crisp snapping sound when you twist them off the plant. If the pepper feels soft or the skin looks dull, it's either not ready yet or past its prime. Additionally, always use clean garden shears or a sharp knife to harvest your peppers rather than pulling them off by hand. Pulling can damage the plant and reduce future production. Cut the stem about ½ an inch above the pepper, and your plant will quickly heal and continue producing new fruit. And there you have it, friends. The 7 critical mistakes that can absolutely destroy your bell pepper dreams, and more importantly, exactly how to avoid every single one of them. Let's quickly recap what we've covered today, because I want to make sure you walk away from this video with complete confidence in your pepper growing abilities. Remember, overwatering kills more pepper plants than anything else, so always check that soil moisture before reaching for the watering can. Your soil needs to drain well while holding nutrients, so don't skip that soil preparation step. Give your plants plenty of space to breathe and grow. Those 18 to 24 inches between plants will make all the difference in your harvest size. When it comes to fertilizing, less nitrogen and more phosphorus, once flowering begins, will give you the fruit production you're dreaming of. Wait for consistently warm temperatures before planting, even if you're eager to get started. Keep a close eye on your plants for pest and disease problems, and harvest those peppers while they're still green and glossy to keep production going strong. But here's the thing. Even if you've made some of these mistakes in the past, don't get discouraged. Gardening is all about learning and improving each season. Every mistake teaches us something valuable, and now that you know what to watch out for, your next pepper harvest is going to be absolutely incredible. I want to hear about your pepper growing experiences in the comments below. Have you made any of these mistakes? What lessons have you learned in your own garden? And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more gardening tips and tricks. Next week, we're going to dive into the best bell pepper varieties for different growing conditions. So, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. Until then, get out there and grow some amazing peppers. Happy gardening, everyone!